You can't judge any book. I mean, everybody says you judge the person by what you see. You can't do that. I mean, it doesn't work like that in any of our businesses. Trust the person. They didn't come here to visit. They came here looking to purchase something. So let's find a way to get them taken care of.
How do you build a network, run a profitable business, and make an impact? Oh, and have a personal life at the same time? That's the question, and this podcast is the answer. I'm your host, Chaz Wilson, husband, father of 5, author of the book 5+1, president and co-founder of Master Networks, Inc., a national networking organization. Look, each week I bring you successful entrepreneurs who will share success strategies of how to effectively build a network, add valuable wisdom to your journey, and help you succeed. Welcome to Connect, Share, and Prosper.
Hey everybody, welcome to Connect, Share, Prosper. Today, I am so excited about our episode today because we're going to talk about a topic which you're not going to want to miss because I think it's becoming a lost art in business, and that is the topic of trust and how to build trust. We're going to talk about trust with the team, trust with your prospects, and trust with potential clients, etc. My guest today is the general manager and partner in Marshal Mize Ford in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he's been there for the last 17 years, and he is a huge fan of college sports, which we'll talk about because so am I. He's a University of Georgia alum, and he has a super strong focus on taking care of customers and his team and showing trust. So welcome, Todd Dyer, to the Connect, Share, Prosper show. Welcome, my friend.
Chaz, appreciate being on the show. Appreciate you taking the time to let me be a part of it. I'm going to have to hear about a little more of that college football side on your side too. So
well, let's start there just for a second because I don't want to spend a ton of time there because we'll get there to the business stuff. But I just want to know how are you able to publicly talk about being a Georgia fan in the state of Tennessee?
I'm really cautious. I mean, there's a little bulldog on my desk, but that's the extent of it. I mean, you got to support all the schools. We got a lot of Auburn, Alabama, and Tennessee people running around Chattanooga. So
yeah, I was gonna say, man, that's kind of a melting pot of a lot of those different. You probably got a lot of people, different schools there, right?
We do. We have a lot of passion on Saturdays around here during football season.
Man, I can't imagine, right? So, Go ahead.
No, it's just a lot of fun. Those are the good times. The balls always get fired up, and everybody all of a sudden is an Alabama fan for the last couple of years.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
But that's okay. The Georgia's coming back alive. So
we've got an Alabama fan because we have an Alabama alum here that works on our team, and she's all about Roll Tide all the time. So she'll probably be watching this. We'll let her know. But listen, so you went to Georgia. How did you end up in Tennessee, and then how did you end up in the car business?
Well, I grew up in the car business, Chaz. It was from a kid. My dad was in the car business, and I started as a lot porter. I mean, that job outside there in the middle of the summer, washing cars and moving them around. And the University of Georgia's home. We got 9 graduates in the family. Even though there's other good schools running around, you just kind of need to go to Athens. That's just kind of where you belong, and it's a great place and a great time. But hey, Tennessee's where the business is, and we're glad to be here.
Yeah, that's great. So you started, it's a family business, and you said on the lot, and you're just doing different jobs and stuff. At what point did you jump into sales? Did you jump into sales and start selling cars?
Well, I got brought up the hard way. You wash cars on the lot. Then I worked in our body shop. Then I worked in our parts department. Went off to college. Had a great job with actually Ford Motor Company for a couple of years. And then come back and did a little bit of sales, not much, but did a little sales, and then jumped right into the management of the store and understanding that, hey, this is family business, this is family values, and we're going to grow. You can't grow through just being a business partner. You got to grow caring about your people.
Yeah. One thing I didn't mention, which is, so powerful, is you are a 17-time Ford President's Award-winning dealership for customer satisfaction. You don't get that by accident, especially in the car business, right?
No, you do not. It takes a lot of effort. Only 10% of the dealers in the country win that award each year, and it's pure focus. We don't look at it as something that we win, but we look at it as expectations. If we can't get that done, we're really not blocking and tackling, as we call it, the right way. We want to have people in our business who understand customers first. We'll be okay as long as we take care of the customers long term.
So let's jump right into it. I want to just and I mentioned this to you before we started, kind of call the elephant out in the room, if you will, of like people thinking about the car business, right? And you guys have done such a great job, and you've led that about trust. And I mean, just frankly, like the car business is probably one of the least trusted industries out there. How do you build trust in an industry that just seems to like have such a reputation of not having that, of just like you can't trust the person you're buying the car from? How do you guys do that?
Well, at our place, we're involved. My office, right out this door is our showroom floor. And I am physically out there talking to customers, shaking hands. My phone number's available. Customers can reach directly to me. And it's been the same way when my dad ran the company. You could walk in our building and talk to one of us if you have any issue or any problem.
Yeah.
We're fortunate. We don't have a lot of those, but if we do, we're here to take care of those customers. It's not just a business run from a corporate standpoint. We truly believe you take care of customers. And when we hire people, we talk about that. And, if they can't meet those expectations, they can't be here. Just because you can be great at sales doesn't mean you're going to live up to what we believe you should do. And we have salespeople been here for 15 years, which you don't find in car stores. We got leaders that have been here 20 years, service manager 40 years, body shop managers new just because our other one retired. So, we're building a brand of how we believe things should be done, which that's how you build trust. And in my opinion, you've got to be involved.
Yeah. So number one, be involved, and give me an example of what do you like? Someone walks in. I could tell you my own story. Like I remember walking out onto a dealership. This has been years ago, right? And I can't even think how long I'd been married, maybe 8-10 years. And I was at the stage where I wanted to buy a new car.
Sure.
I've been buying anything I could afford up to that point. Now I finally was making a little money. I wanted to buy a new car. And so I had something that was reliable. And a Saturday I pull up on this lot. Now it's a Saturday. I'm in shorts, a t-shirt, flip-flops, and my hat's on backwards. I probably don't look like I do today, right? I just walked out on the lot, just driving through. And a guy approaches me and he says, how can I help you? Does all that kind of stuff. And I said, look, I'm looking for a new car. This is kind of what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for this kind of a car is I think what I said. And he said, well, you're on the new lot and the used lot's on the other side. So let me walk you down to the used lot. And I thought, I didn't say anything about a used car. I said, I wanted a new car. This is what I wanted. And he just made all these assumptions about me. And I while we were walking and just the conversation, I quickly just said go find me somebody else. I don't even want to talk to you. I don't even want to deal with you. Right. And so that was an experience that I had. And I just think what do you do? Because you have this reputation of trust and you guys have done such a great job. What are you guys doing? What are you talking about in your sales meetings, et cetera, and your service to just create that level of trust from somebody as soon as they walk on your lot?
Well, the first thing is we have sales meetings daily. A lot of places have a sales meeting once a week or once a month. And we don't believe you can teach like that. There's always going to be something that happens each day we can improve upon. And with our staff, I haven't done it recently. I need to do it again with them. But I come in looking like a slum. I do it intentionally to them. And I have outside friends who I say, come to the store and just have some fun.
Yep.
It's the same thing. Throw the hat on backwards, untuck everything, drive the whole truck that barely runs, because we want to see how our people react. And if it's not the reaction we're looking for, it's back to immediate training. And we have ongoing training, not just about sales process, but about you can't judge any book. Everybody says you judge the person by what you see. You can't do that. It doesn't work like that in any of our businesses. And trust the person. They didn't come here to visit. They came here looking to purchase something. So let's find a way to get them taken care of.
So true. And so what could you do to what's the biggest complaint that's out there right now? When someone walks on a lot, and they're looking for a car, and then what do you guys do to build that trust around the biggest, I'm sure they're all the same, right? The same kind of complaints or the same things that expectations people have when they walk on a lot. What are those typical?
Well, people are really stressed out. When they're making a big purchase, they're stressed from Jump Street because they don't know all the process of what's going on. And we have to bring the guard down from Jump Street. We're here to help. As much information as you can give us, we'll figure out what fits your needs. It's not about income. It's not about profit. It's about taking care of the customer. And it sounds real easy, but we take care of our people that way. Don't focus on what you're selling. Focus on what actually fits their needs, because if you ever sell somebody one time, you got a chance to sell them twice. You don't ever sell them the first time, or you create the bad impression, they're not coming back. So we don't have a chance in the future.
So you said something there, and I hope you guys picked up on this. I'm talking to Todd Dyer, who is just an incredible source of knowledge when it comes to building trust in a business that typically, some could say that's a huge advantage in a business that typically doesn't have trust, because then you could, as soon as you have it, you could really stand out, right? So I always look for the opportunities in this. But Todd, you said something there that to me is the key. And if you guys are listening to this, it's one thing to build trust with the customer and talk about all these, core values and things that you do. But if you don't take care of your team, they're not going to portray that same level of trust out to the prospect. So tell us a little bit about what you do with your team to build it. How do you lead the change with your team to build that same kind of trust?
Well, we have those daily meetings, but also turn into, you have to be close to your people. And every 3 months or so, we go through a process, here's a piece of paper. What's your concerns? What's your issues? Put it in an envelope, bring it to the office. You don't have to put your name on it. You don't have to tell us anything that's going on. If you got a serious need, we're always available. But what are the things that are blocking you from being really successful? And we want to take those and then go back to the staff. All right, guys, how can we help you out? Or how's the team? What do we need to do? So we're always letting them know, you come to us, we're going to fix any topics that are slowing you down so that we have your trust, you have our trust. We're going to take care of everything that's going on. And I guess it's more of what we call an open door, like everybody's done it before. Yeah. But anything that's going on, walk in here and let's figure it out. If it's personal, if it's at home, not just business-wise, we're here to take care of you. Yeah. Because you're going to take care of us long term.
I mean, I would imagine you guys must have a really strong relationship with your team. If you've got people, like you said, been there 15, 20, 40 years, at this family business, you must really focus on building relationships.
It's all about those relationships, not just the car business or any business that you're in. If you've got a revolving door of employees, you got really no chance to be successful. You need to figure out why people are coming in and out of your business on a constant basis. If that's happening to you, because if you don't have long-term employees, I just don't believe you can be successful. So if somebody's having a rough time, figure out how you can help them. Because in the grand scheme of things, it's about helping their life. That'll take care of your business.
So, guys, you're listening to Todd Dyer, who is focused on a highly relational business, building a highly relational business in a very transactional world he lives in. And I'm sure that's part of the reason that separates you and keeps you doing the business you're doing. But, what do you say to those people who say, yeah, it sounds good, Todd, but it feels like, most dealerships are just going to say what they need to get a sale anyway. So how do I really know that I'm working with a good dealer, right? Because not everyone's going to buy a car where you're at. They're going to go. In fact, I got a team member who's looking for a car this weekend here. What should someone look for that says this is really somebody I can trust and someone I should do business with?
I think you're really looking for longevity. If somebody's newly in the business, obviously they haven't been doing it for a long time, but I think good questions to ask when if you're looking for an automobile is, how long has the management staff been there? What is their philosophies? And if they really care about the consumer, they're going to walk over there and tell you. They're not going to hide from you. They're going to come right to you. And anytime, it's not just about, the internet world is made to where it's just a piece of merchandise, but it's more than that. Because you may need help at some point in time. You won't trust in that dealership where you're doing business. And I think it's the longevity of it. Chattanooga's got several people been around a long time and dealers that have been around a long time. But if dealerships are constantly changing hands, or you've gone in there a couple times and the people are always different, okay, something's going on. And you just want to feel confident with who you're dealing with. Yeah. If you can't look somebody dead in that eye and then look you right back, okay, it's kind of that simple. I mean, we're going to shake your hand, we're going to talk to you, and somebody else does that, you at least got an opportunity.
I mean, it sounds like you're saying, just what I'm hearing, it sounds like you're saying, you mean there's not like some slick sales tactic. It's just simple relationship, treat people how they want to be treated, look them in the eye, be transparent, right? That's what you're saying.
Everything in the automobile world is available online. There's nothing hidden. This is not 20 years ago. This is now, every bit of our information is out there. So the transactional data you can get, you can pull anything you want to pull. There's no tricks in this trade anymore. There may have been years ago, but that's long gone. It's been gone for 15 plus years. Just nobody necessarily believes it. As you say, sometimes we're still not trusted, but all the information's there. So go where you feel comfortable.
Do you see a shift? Because I know probably 10 to 12 years ago, you sort of had this information assisted selling. If you could give information that they couldn't get, that's how you built trust. And I think with the internet now, it's like information to anything from cars to real estate to insurance to anything. Like I can get a quote in 5 minutes. I can get a mortgage, and like it's now turned into relational selling, in my opinion. What do you think on that?
Well, I think we were at relational selling a long time ago, and everybody thought, well, we'll just do it by the click of a button. And you can still get a lot of information that way. But I think we're back to relationships. Because it's about the people. It just really is. You can buy a product anywhere you want to.
Yeah.
It's not going to be taken care of and felt like your needs are met if you just want to do it the simple way of clicking a button and moving forward. We can bring it to you. We'll take care of you. But at the same point in time, it's about who you're dealing with. It's shifted back that way, in my opinion, from a long time ago. I'm talking 40 years ago, my dad got into this business. It was about the relationships.
Yeah.
We kind of went away from it, and I think we're coming back to it.
Oh, and I think it's going to swing hard back that way is the way I'm watching things happen. Like people just want that relationship, because as the technology sort of puts that distance at times between people, most really then swing hard back to that relationship, right? So guys, as you're listening, make sure if you have a question for Todd, put it in the Facebook comments while you're listening. I'll make sure, if you're listening live, I'll make sure we ask those comments here at the end. So, okay, I want to ask you a question. What's like do you have like the worst car experience story you could tell us, or the funniest, or something like that is like at your years of working at a dealership? Like what's a story, experience that stands out to you that like maybe it was a massive challenge you guys overcame and solved, something like that? What jumps to your mind?
Well, let me tell you about the fun when you talk about when you went to a car store and had that. We had a customer for 4 years.
Yeah.
Rode his bicycle in here every Saturday, looked at cars, kept saying he was going to buy a car. And you think after a couple of weeks, you're like, really? Now, this was a few years ago, too.
Yeah.
And about 4 years later, he had saved up his money the entire time. He rode his bike to work. He came looking at cars. And it was approximately 4 years later, walked in here and bought a car and paid cash for it. It was like, okay, there's your example of just take care of everybody. You never know what's going to happen in the world. You just don't. So so that's the one that always sticks out when you think about just be very polite to everybody.
It's so good. Like there's so many lessons in that. Number one, don't prejudge that to a point where, he's telling you, he's giving you the buying. Say, I'm going to buy it. I've always said buying is a process, not an event, right? Like try to treat it as an event, but it's a process. He's in a 4-year process of buying that car. Right. And so you guys did a great job there. Okay. So, as we get some questions coming in, let me ask you, so like when has been a time you in your professional career, I was asked this one time on a podcast, and now it's my favorite question to ask. It caught me totally off guard, so I'm hoping I don't.
Oh, here we go.
And I mean, from a professional standpoint and a business standpoint, what has been the time you have been most proud of what you've accomplished, something you've accomplished that you like, man, that was the most proud I've been in? Because often we don't stand up and say, and I'm really proud of what I've done, because it could sound arrogant or cocky or whatever. But like, when is something, this is your time to be that. Like, this is your time to, I'm saying you have permission to be that. Like, when's a time you're super proud of what you or your team's accomplished?
Yeah, that's not my norm. I don't stand up and be. We just keep going to work and doing the best we can each day. Probably the biggest one was a couple of years ago. The store was somehow in the state of Tennessee, because Chattanooga is not the largest city in Tennessee by a long shot. A lot more going on in Nashville and Knoxville and in Memphis. But the dealership was able to outsell every Ford dealer in the state. It had never done that ever in its history. And it was a close race with the guys in Memphis, one of the dealers out there. But in a town our size, we were able to outsell every dealer in our entire state. And it made us grin for a while. It was like, we actually could do that, like anybody, sometimes we rested on our laurels just a little bit the next year. We didn't get it done that second year. And now we've refocused those areas. Like, we can do this. It just takes making sure we don't miss anything we know how to do. So that's what we're trying to get back to. Even though Nashville's an explosion city, that growth, I don't know if we can beat those guys, but we're going to put a hard effort back at it.
Yeah. So how do you keep your guys focused every day? Like, I think sometimes that's a challenge when you've achieved something great like that. Yeah. How do you keep them focused every day?
I walk through our whole building. We're blessed. We got 115 approximately employees. And I go through each day and I'm looking for a face. If my crew's not smiling somewhere, something's wrong. So there's where I try to keep them motivated. I try to personally go to them. Hey, how's your day? What's going on? Is there anything I can help you with? It's just for me, is I want people's lives to be better than they were when they came to work here. So I want to focus on, if there's something I can do to help them, I sure as heck am going to try to make that happen. So that's how I try to keep them going, because if they see me doing that, no matter if I'm running around the building every day, they know we care. So that drives them to be better for themselves.
So let me, by the way, we're getting some questions coming in, and guys, there's so many. Let me just recap a couple of things that I'm hearing. Like, you're building trust in an industry that's very trust challenged, in my opinion. And I think there's a lot of evidence of that in reports and so forth. And so I think that's what's fantastic about it. And, if you know anybody in the Chattanooga area, you guys send them over, have them see Todd, tell them they heard about it on Connect, Share, Prosper, Master Networks, and Todd will take care of them. But, you're going out, you're talking to customers, shaking their hands, looking them in the eye, kind of that relational selling. And then you're also doing that and pouring value into your team,
right,
training and teaching them to add value. So one of the questions we got is, you take such great care of your team. Do you do monthly team building or social events with your team?
We do every month. We do a birthday lunch and an anniversary lunch. We take everybody to one of the local restaurants here in town. We feed them. We take care of them. We play a couple of games for a little side action, just to give a extra bonus for coming in for that. Each month we have an employee of the month. We bring the entire dealership together and we hand out one of those every month. At the end of the year, we take all those employees of the month and we put them into a random draw to help them out for their Christmas fund.
Oh, cool.
So we do some normal stuff every month, and just trying to build the social side we did years ago. It's one of those things we got to get back to do it. We got to get back to little picnics and lunches on the showroom floor and just bringing everybody together.
All that stuff, that builds the community within your dealership, right?
That's right.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what challenges have you faced over the years that, what's been the biggest challenge you guys have? Maybe it's right now in your business that you're up against, that you and your team are strategizing and working towards and working through.
Yeah, right now we're trying to figure out how you grow in a market to where personal communication we're trying to build upon, and at the same time we're trying to make sure we're giving enough information to be the big draw, because there's plenty of choices to go from. We can't change whatever the product is we have. Ford brings it to us, but we're trying to make sure we're showing the market how great it is. If they come here, we think we can communicate that, but how do we make sure we communicate it on a broad base? And we're building some new teams. We've had some great people retire, and it's been great time. So we're bringing a lot of new people into our organization. So it's training them up to be what we're looking for. It's been the most challenge we've had in a couple of years. We've had 5 or 6 people that have been great employees of ours. Just their time said, okay, we're done. We actually have a long list of employees who've retired from here. So we're having to build some new team members. So it's giving us a challenge, but it's been fun to watch building those people up.
So last question for me on this as I think about this, and you guys can put some more questions in there for Todd. So, you have a team, you have the sales team, and I'm thinking, I'm sure over the years, you've had people that have come and maybe leave or retire or whatever, but then there's those times that I think sometimes people look at you and say, hey, you get that big corner office or whatever, you get to run the show, but there's those hard conversations you have to have sometimes. And I think people listening as running their own business, whether you have 1 employee or 115, there's those times where you have to have those hard conversations. And maybe you've had some sales guys that maybe haven't hit their numbers or whatever it is, and you have to have those conversations. How do you approach that? How do you handle that in a business where you're trying to build trust and you're trying to build community within your team, yet you have to have those hard conversations? How do you approach that?
I approach it as it's everybody has the opportunity to get better. And we really try to look at what are the things that are not going right for that individual, and then break down and have that conversation. I mean, we're like nobody else. We're no different than anybody else. We have to produce results. If we don't produce results, then we've got to figure out either what's preventing that person from doing it, or if this just isn't the right field for them. Because, those conversations do come down. Not everybody can sell. Sales isn't the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
So, we maintain a certain level, and we want to find a great fit for one another. That's for sure. But they're tough. That's the toughest thing I have to do, is have those conversations.
Yeah, I think sometimes people look at that and say, well, you know, there's so many upsides, but I think sometimes that's the hardest conversation to ever have. It's never been easy for me, no matter what, even when it was the most obvious thing, like even when it was, they basically fired themselves, it's still never, you're changing somebody's life. And I always look at it like I'm opening a door for them to actually succeed better at what they're doing
Right.
at another place, because often it's just not a fit, and that's more of what it is. Right. So
Exactly.
Guys, so blessed today with this great, I've got, a handful of notes here on my pages. I just love this idea of focusing in a business. And all of you that are listening, like if you're listening to this, I want you to take just kind of a internal audit of your own business and say, where could I do a better job of building trust with my team, with my prospects, with my current customers, that I could build trust in such a way that people will do more business with me, they'll refer more business, and I have team members that stay with me longer, because Todd has really embodied that example. And so Todd, how can people follow you, find you? What can they do if they want to connect with you? Like, hey, I love your message. I love what you're saying. Do you have social media channels that I can follow, connect with you?
Yeah, we got YouTube, Instagram. We got all the fun stuff. Go to MarshalMizeford.com. Like our Facebook page, like our Instagram post. Feel free to reach out to me anytime at the dealership. I'll be glad to help anybody in business. I've got a lot of people who've helped me over the years. I'll be glad to help anybody else. You can't grow without people who are willing to try to help you.
Yeah. Do you have a like a mentor or somebody that's really helped you? Like, who's been a really huge mentor to you?
I've been blessed, really fortunate. I've got a great dad who's in the business, and the name on our building, Marshal Mize Ford, that's a gentleman also. And I grew up with the two of them leaning on me the right way. Two different ways of how to grow. And I still get to reach out to both of them. Obviously the father side's easy, but the guy whose name's on the building drops by here at least once a week, and can reach out and talk to him all the time. And I got a couple of dealer friends who I grew up in the business around, and that phone doesn't quit ringing. Just different perspectives from different parts of the country, and how can we help each other? Because the business isn't as complicated as anybody makes it.
Well, that's just it, right? We overcomplicate it, I think, is
right.
The key, right?
That's
So
right.
too much overcomplication in a business that, quite honestly, business gets very simple if you just listen to what they're saying, as you said, and hear what their needs are and then serve them.
Right.
So, Todd, thank you so much. Blessed to have you on our Connect, Share, Prosper podcast. Guys, if you are listening to this, you want to follow, reach out to Marshal Mize Ford, look them up, connect with them. And as always, every Monday, I bring you a top entrepreneur leader who's going to bring you a topic, something they've learned, something that adds value to you and your business. So make sure you tune in to the Master Network's Facebook page, noon Central, as we go live every single week with a guest. So this week it was Todd. Todd, thank you so much for being on Connect, Share, Prosper.
Chaz, thanks a lot. I hope you have a great week, and all you people do as well.